Welcome to the AAE Podcast, the new podcast for European actuaries designed to deliver in-depth insights on the latest trends and essential updates within the insurance industry.
I'm Claudio Senatore Reso, and welcome to the very first episode of the Actuarial Association of Europe podcast. So a couple of months ago, within our working group, we had this idea to start recording some podcast episode, and we decided to focus the initial episode to a very, let's say, I would say, hot topic, not only in the insurance world, by the way, in the actuarial world, that is, the artificial intelligence. So this means that we will, the first episode will be dedicated to this subject, and we will discuss it at 360 degrees. So considering not only the voice and the point of view of the insurance companies, of the actuaries, but different players within the insurance world. Because as a matter of fact, artificial intelligence is impacting the entire insurance value chain. But today, for the first episode, I'm happy to introduce you our two guests, Thomas Béhar, that is CFXFO of CNP Insurance Group, France, and together with him, Arthur Mombo, that is Head of Data Lab AI Solution, always in CNP Insurance Group. So welcome to Thomas, welcome to Arthur, and thank you for joining us in this first episode. So
thank you for your invitation. Thank you.
So we are really happy to have you, Thomas. We met already in another occasion. I think that the last one was in Brussels, but before Brussels it was in Rome. Arthur, it's the first time that we meet. Again, thanks for your participation. So, Thomas, I think that the very first curiosity that we would, let's say, ask is this CFXFO name that you adopted within the CNP Insurance Group. So, the normal name that we see is CFO. So yeah, this is the very first question that I would like to make you. So what does really CFXFO stands for?
It means Chief Financial and Extra Financial Officer. It means that for my undertaking, we value at each equal part the financial performance of the undertaking and the performance on sustainable issues in the same weight. So that's why I'm now looking at both performance, financial with the usual net profit or dividend, but also how we measure the footprint on carbon and other matters at an equal level. So that's why we change the view of the performance of the undertaking.
That's something that really personally, it's the first time that I see this in a name, and I think that is a strong message to everyone. This really makes us understand the importance that you give to this subject. So financial, obviously, from a financial point of view, it must be productive, but also the importance, the company, but also the importance of the sustainability. So this is really a strong message. So thank you. And Thomas, I know that you are as background, an actuary. By the way, you are a past president of the Actuarial Association of Europe. So you know well the association. You know well the French association, and you joined. You started this position as CFO in CNP, and we know that in CNP you have been implementing AI solutions since several years. So if I'm not wrong, in 2020 you established the AI ethical working group, but you have been working on AI maybe even before, implementing different solutions. So I would start from positive experiences, so from success that you had. And what I would say is, it's several today are several years that you are implementing AI solutions in CNP. Could you share your top two or I don't know, also one, depending on what type of story you want to tell us, but could you share your top stories of success where where AI really had an impact, so directly impacted positively on, I don't know, operational efficiency or on the customer experience. So where you could really touch the positive, impact of it in terms of application.
Everyone has today, which was not the case 6 years ago, that artificial intelligence is quite changing and helping different undertakings to better perform towards, for us policyholders, but more generally, customers or employees of the undertaking. But at the beginning, we began with a difficulty that we have in France. We don't have a number for each person in France. So it's forbidden for insurers to use that. It's different from Italy, for example, where you have a national numero for each person, which is not the case in France. So we are protecting people, and we can't recognize someone by a number we can use an insurer. And at that time, as actuaries, we had the difficulty to know exactly who was dead inside the insured, from which we are measuring the technical reserve. So we use at that time artificial intelligence to compare the list of names that we have in our database with the list of names of the dead people, which is in the database of the National Statistic Institute of France, l'INSEE, where everyone, when he's dead, is registered. So, but we discovered at that time that we have a lot of people for the years who change, like Arthur, their first name or the last name. You have sometimes one letter, two letter difference. Sometimes you add an S, you withdraw an R, and something like that, meaning that with exact recognition, you can't find them. So we began to use logic which was not exact, which helped to find the dead people and which help also to have the exact technical reserve in lines with the data that we are using with technical reserve. As always for actuaries, data is always the trap that you have when you don't use the correct data to do your measurement. So it was the beginning, and we found 10,000 of people who were dead, but not with the exact names in the database that was registered outside. And so we began with that. It was the first use, and how we did that, we used some kind of scoring with 3 letters or 3 characters of the first name, the last name, the birth date, and with that you can find person. You have 3 characters, and so you do scores, and when you have the higher scores, you can match the persons. And then after, you have people in the management teams who will find. So it was the beginning, as I said, was some kind of help for actuaries to better measure the technical reserve. So it was the beginning of the story, and now we are quite everywhere in the value process. So we change this capacity of actuaries to perform algorithm to complement what IT is doing with all our algorithm. So, and our performance is the capacity not only to produce good ideas, algorithm, but we are posing what we call API, and the IT people are taking this API to put them inside the IT system. And nowadays, we have 16 million of APIs who are turning now. So that's how it moved from the beginning to today. And I will give you other examples.
So everything started basically to face an issue that was coming from a particularity of the French state, that is, the lack of a sort of fiscal code that is uniquely matching with each person. So everything starting to try to face this issue because this was negatively impacting on your reserving methodologies. So basically the application was finding an algorithm that was matching people with the right amount in terms of identity, matching the people in terms of identity in order to be able then to assign the correct reserving amount, correct? Yeah. So in a very easy word. And this was, let's say, around, if I'm not wrong, you said 6 years ago, no? Or
2019, 2020.
Yeah. Okay. Around 16. And you said yet, at the beginning, not everything was easy. And actually, this was really my second question for you, Thomas. So, what were the initial hesitations that you had about adopting AI? So if you had any, obviously, and now that you have been implementing several, and that you have implemented several solutions, how has that perspective changed? From the beginning, where you had some hesitation, some concerns. Then after many implementation, it might be that this perspective changed. How it evolved.
The main point today is to be very clear about what is the performance that we are expecting from the algorithm. Sometimes an exact performance around 19.5 is important. Sometimes it doesn't matter. And with generic artificial intelligence, it's really important to know where we are because the algorithm can be really wrong. So you have to set all the measurement of the performance of the algorithms that you are producing with usual artificial intelligence plus LLMs to better know what you will achieve with this artificial intelligence. So clearly, it's not important if you are quite good, if you are transcripting some discussions that you have with policyholders just to help the advisor to do its job. So what is important is the sense of that. But for other perspective, just to say yes or no to insure someone or things like that, you have to be right in what you will deliver. So, or in the advice that you will give back to the policyholder through the information that you will extract from the database. So this question, in fact, is some kind of ethics, which is what is the right performance of the algorithm that you are using to perform your job. So it's really something really important today, not to use whatever algorithm you can find in the market or produced internally in the undertaking, but really be sure about what you are using today. You have that in finding some extract from database and so on. It's always something you have to look at.
And obviously, this at the beginning was definitely not easy. When you start a process for the first time, when you apply model for the first time, you're navigating through that is never easy. It's never easy because it's the first implementation. You don't know if it is really the best model that you could use. So I do think I do understand that it must have been not really easy, especially 6-7 years ago. In these 6-7 years, the legislation evolved really a lot, and it's unavoidably you learn by doing. So I do understand that it has been not really easy, and also for you, Arthur, from a more an implementing point of view, because today you are head of data lab AI solutions, but basically you have started in CNP as a data scientist. So you have seen basically the entire process, from being a data scientist, then a lead data scientist, and now you are head of of the data lab AI solution. So really from being the one that is doing things practically to the one that now is managing maybe more people, more processes. So your experience, I think that for us it would be really interesting to hear from you. Which if you could walk us through one of your CNP successful AI implementation, from what do you start? What is the initial problem? I don't know, maybe you start from the identification of a problem and then you go through the entire process and maybe arriving to the deployment. Could you walk us through let's say the typical process that I think that today you have, and maybe you helped in implementing this process. Now, could you walk us through a typical AI project implementation process?
Yes, thank you. What we needed to know is that to have a real impact, an AI model must meet a concrete business need. So it all starts with an immersion in the business unit. And we go to the business unit with a duo, a data scientist, and a project manager. This duo is very crucial because the synergy between them, that two skills help us to understand very, very well the business. Because if we don't understand the business from the beginning, we cannot build a real solution with a real impact for the company. So that is the first step. And at this step, we bring with us also our colleague from IT department, because we can build the model, but after the build, the model must go in the production. So we go to the business unit with that three kind of profile: data scientist, project manager, and colleagues from the IT department. So we start with that by framing the project, understand the project, what are your needs, what are the KPIs of the success of the project. We begin with that, and we spend with the business a long time for having a very good framework for that, for understanding what you need, what is the problem, and what do you want, what are the KPI of success. That is the really first step for us. After that,
Definitely. No, definitely having a good use case or having a good issue, good problem is a very good starting point. No, correct.
yes, because we can see that in a lot of lab, they develop their solution without the business. So in that case, that kind of case, the solution cannot have a real impact for the company. We are here to build some solution, and we want that solution have a real impact for the business, for the company, etc. So the most important for us is to understand what are the use case in the company, what are the needs of the company. That is our first step. In that point, after that, we have a process for we have a feasibility study for the solution. We take some data, etc., because we need that for developing our solution. We test some proof of concept, and after that, in the first step, we can know that we if we can build the AI solution, what are our needs for building that solution, etc. And after, we can have a lot of iteration with the business. We work on that. We are not just like we build the solution, and at the end of the solution we can go to the business unit. No, during all the building of the solution, we have a lot of meeting with the business unit, etc., for showing them the solution, showing them the process, each feature that we are building.
And the learning part through training the algorithm is not the more difficult.
No,
in fact,
exactly.
it's something that's something you have a lot of different possibility to catch some algorithm in open source and so on, and to adapt them to the language of the undertaking, to the real need of the business.
Exactly.
And Arthur, at the moment you are working using a wide variety of AI models. Is there, or are there any models that you are leveraging more? Is there any specific reason? Did you try also, for example, large language models application? That now that these are the definitely the most hot topic in terms of models. Do you are experimenting also in this area?
Yes, we have. It depends on what is the goal of the use case. What is the goal? And we have a lot of KPI for helping us to choose the good model. The infrastructure also is a very, very important part for helping us to choose what is the best model, etc. But at the beginning, it was sometimes difficult, but from now we have a large frame of model. We have a lot of models, so we can choose. And in certain process, we know what are the good models. So we have not to test a lot of things, etc. Because that is the good. We know we already know what are the good model. If for that we can use LLM, large language model. If for that we can use a very simple model, or if for that we can just use some algorithm with mathematics rules, for example.
Arthur is an actuary, so it's not far from what all the people who are listening to this day was doing with GLM and so on, knowing what is and testing the performance, and knowing that some GLMs are working for some matters, and for other points you will use another kind of model. It's just the same for that.
Yeah. And before you said something that is for me definitely really important, deployment. When you said deployment and putting the models in production, unfortunately, I have seen a lot of really nice modeling projects that dead. Why? Because they didn't really arrive to deployment, to production. So definitely this last part of the process, so putting something really in production, using really it in production, so deploying the model is, in many cases, this is really I don't want to say the hardest part, but for sure one of the most difficult, and it might be, and please confirm me, also usability, so okay, you define the use case, you choose the right model, but then also, in my opinion, and please confirm me if it is the case, is also the usability that makes the difference. So I can have a good model, a very good model, but if the access to this model, if the interaction with this tool, for me, that I could be an underwriter, I could be a reserving actuary, I could be someone working in the marketing department, if the interaction and the usability of this tool is not handy, it might be the best model in the world, but in the end, it will not be used. I don't know. You have a similar experience.
Yeah, in fact, what I could say that normally it's transparent for the user. So he uses it, but he doesn't see that he's using it in some way. So, for example, you worked on capacity to target better for commercial campaign. So finding who will buy which kind of product with artificial intelligence, but we produce the people to get into contact. We put it in the database for the network to look at them, but the user will not see where it comes from. And it's the same for a lot of applications that we have today. So it's embedded in the tools they are using, but they don't see that it's not exactly the usual tool, but it's reinforced by the APIs that we are using inside the tool.
And
so that's one of the parts But recently we done something different, which is for all the undertaking. So each employee of CNP Assurance can use artificial intelligence algorithm at its own use. So it's something new. We call it IAGO. It's something inside. We have put 3 of them today, and people are able to access to that and use them in their work. So it's some translation, it's some searching features in documents that they can use instead of anonymization of documents. So we are using some very specific data with name of insured, health issues, and so it's important to be able to anonymize some of the documents in order to be able to give to someone else. And so now they can ask for themselves. So they put the document inside the bureautic and they ask for the API to apply that. So it's something which is open to all the 6,000 persons of the undertaking.
Okay, so you have implemented this internally to CNP. So this is available for all the CNP, for basically all your colleagues internally to CNP. So that's a completely internalized, I would say, tool for I see for many stuff. Yeah, for many things.
So democratization of the use of artificial intelligence. So everyone can use it, and not only people like Arthur inside the different tools of the undertaking. So it's something that everyone can now get. You have Copilot or things like that, or chat, or which can be used from outside, but internally with very specific document of the undertaking, we don't want to put them outside of the undertaking.
You adopted this approach that is really at 360 degrees. So making your internal processes faster, quicker, more efficient, but also looking at the policyholder and what he can do, and you want that this positive effect goes also on the policyholders and not only just in implementation and efficiency of your internal processes. So Thomas, that's I know that it's not maybe not an easy question, but looking now a little bit more in a medium long perspective, so for example, looking ahead 5 years. Now, with all your experience that you have in AI implementation, models and different tools that you have developed, according to you, which insurance process or which insurance processes, do you see being most transformed by AI in the next 5 years?
5 years is very long as a speed.
Oh, maybe
it's a very, very long term because it's moving a lot. Really, integration with the customers, helping the different advisors, the people who are in the back office, is changing a lot. So really, the first efficiency is on managing the undertaking. So at this stage, we are working on what we call RAG, with the capacity to get the right information outside all the documentation, the thousands of documents of the undertaking, and give back to the policyholders or to the persons in the call center the right information to interact with the policyholders. What we are quickly saying is that with speech to text, RAG, and text to pitch, the capacity to help the policyholders asking a question about his contract, going directly with the right historic contract, because you have a lot of hundreds of versions of product, going exactly what is the right of the person, what is kind of claims, is it guaranteed, not guaranteed, and so on, looking from all the information and giving back first to the person in the call center and then to the policyholder with the right information, and perhaps with less errors than when it's only humans performing. So how you can enhance the quality of the service of the policyholders, and in the meantime, reducing the calls that we get, because giving right the right information to the policyholders and improving the productivity of the undertaking in the management that we are performing. So it's really what's going on now, something more automatized, but also helping the call center with what is the right information that you need to do. Are you performing well on compliance issues, on commercial patterns, on emotions that you have to interact with the policyholders? So it's changed that a lot, and it's part of it. But if you look more on actual jobs, it will come later. So we have some kind of the same as you did, as we did with the dead people. You can do between accountants and actuaries, twice the same, but you have numbers. So perhaps it's not exactly the same numbers, but it's not far and so on. And to match all that and automatize some links that we have all to do between actuaries and accountants about the data. So and so on, and helping performing the different hypotheses that we have to perform in the models and so on, and helping us to write the codes of the models for actuaries is something which is improving a lot in the recent years.
Yeah, definitely. So, Arthur, in terms of, talking about actuaries, so how do you see the actuarial community engaging with the AI? So, are you observing significant initiatives and collaboration, or such, I don't know, sharing use cases, developing new approaches, or do you see it a little bit, hesitant? I mean, the actuarial community. What is your impression?
My impression is that for the study, etc., there is a lot of initiative in actuarial community. I can see that because 5 years ago it was not the case, but right now there is a lot of initiative. The most of the theses for the actuary now and the job, etc. There is a lot of things about AI, artificial intelligence, a lot of formation in the actuary school. So for now, I cannot see a lot of hesitant. There is a lot of things about that new. Everyone today wants to go to the artificial intelligence, and actually too, I can see that. So we have a lot of things, acculturation for helping actuary team to know what is artificial intelligence, what is OpenAI, how to use Copilot, etc. They need that. They ask for that. So for like
Well, definitely,
for me,
that's definitely important. Also, if you think about to Article 4 from the AI Act, that is imposing AI literacy to everyone, basically, not only to the professional data scientists, to everyone. So it's needed a certain level of AI literacy.
Yes.
So this is definitely something really, really important. I was asking you this because this is also part of some of a project that we are doing in my working group. So we are trying to put together actuaries from different countries and try to establish a collaboration among them, sharing use cases, or sharing, creating GitHubs with real use cases, so that you start building a community, a real community, where you can share experience, you can share issues that you have had, how you fixed them, etc., etc. So in order to push this, because I don't see this at the moment really present. I don't see this solid community among actuaries personally. I don't know. It might be a personal perception, obviously, but we are working also toward this direction. So, and we are really aiming to the going really toward the end. If I tell you these two words, agentic AI, that is the new, I would say, the new buzzwords that you see, you hear since several months. What comes to your mind?
Like 2 years ago with ChatGPT, 4 years ago with Transformers. It is like that for me. And there is a lot of people speak about that agentic AI, and in Data Lab also we speak a lot about that. And I think in the what of Thomas told just a few minutes ago, we will use agentic AI for helping uh, for the communication with the policyholders, etc. I think we we will need to use that kind of solution for transforming the way how can we answer to the client more quickly, how can we answer to the employees more quickly, etc. I think we will use that. It is like ChatGPT 2 years ago. Each day, each year, there is a lot of things, new things, etc. So I'm not surprised for that.
And in fact, Arthur,
So
whatever gets out in the market, you are testing just to know what is the real performance of it. Does it work? Does it not working? Because you want to test also what we are doing inside, you are always doing some combo between outside and inside,
Yes.
but knowing exactly what is the performance, which was one of the first points about what we are using.
Sure. So definitely, let's say it's not just an increase of complexity. You do really see value in this agentic AI. So let's say it's worth the effort in managing the definitely higher complexity of agentic AI than just one AI model. So it's worth trying to manage this complexity because you do really see, let's say, value in this potential use case. Perfect. So, Thomas, Arthur, I really want to thank you for joining us in this first episode of the Actuarial Association of Europe. And I really hope that all the next episode we'll keep on dedicated to AI. We'll keep on talking about these subjects. Maybe also trying to see different experiences. But the aim of this episode and of the next one is really bringing the experience. In this case, your experience to the actuarial community, but not only that. With respect to this project, that everyone is talking about AI, but in most of the cases, where is the reality? So we wanted to bring to people some real project experiences that might be useful, might be interesting. So thank you again for your participation, for joining us. You have been really, really nice, important for us. And see you next time to next episode. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
This was the AAE Podcast. See you soon.